Welcome to week 2 of Ring Talk with Steve Goodwin and with me Michael Devine, 2-weight Southern Area champion at the time, and plenty more to come as well. You know, it's not the end of Michael's journey. It's had a bit of an interlude, and now he's back again and ready to push on. So we're going to be chatting about that in a little while. Before we get onto any of that, we're going to take a look at this Saturday's action down at York Hall. A big card, isn't it? It's
Bumper and Jack, Kevin, everybody's put together a big card.
So Jack Green is promoted.
Jack Green's promoted. He's worked hard on this with Kevin, and we've helped as well. 19 fights. Starts at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's going to finish around 10:30 at night. 3 massive fights.
I hope my wife's watching this, by the way, because she knows why I'm back at like 1
Don't
o'clock in the morning.
Don't worry about this Saturday. It's the Friday after. You've got to be worried about getting back.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on. Saturday, it's great. You've got Wadi Camacho, Aussie Jervier, which is a big opportunity for Aussie. Both fights fell apart, so he stepped in.
Wadi said that if he doesn't win,
he's retiring.
He's hanging him up.
Yeah. And
his trainer Terry as well.
They're both going to retire. If Wadi loses this fight, then Terry and Wadi are going to retire from boxing.
Yeah.
It's true, that is.
It's a great fight as well because they're both susceptible and they can both hit. And it's not going to go the distance.
No, it's going to be it's been a cracking fight. And then you've got the welterweight strap, Freddie Quit, Louis Green. Yeah. Louis Green undefeated, 7-0, the brawler from Kent. Brilliant. It's going to be a brilliant fight. You've got Freddie Quit with slick boxing skills against Louis Green, who's going to come like a tornado. I've watched Louis Green. I've been really impressed with him. I think that is a real brilliant fight.
And Freddie, like the times I've seen, he lost to Akeem Ellis-Brown.
He wasn't very good that day, was he?
He wasn't, and I think maybe Brown, since he's gone on to beat Glenn Foote, possibly looks better than what people assumed he was.
Yeah.
That's a cracking fight. Freddie just looks like an engine, doesn't he? Like himself, he looks like.
Yeah, I mean, he looked superb last time against Dereck Chisora.
Yeah.
It's a great fight. And then you've got probably the fight that may go under the radar, but could be the fight of the night. Danny Couzens, Spiros, Demetriou. Danny Couzens, who I took on. Everybody considered him to be a journeyman, and I believe now we've. I mean, when I say we've turned him, Danny's still done it in the ring. We think we've turned him into a contender, and there's a big opportunity. But he's fighting the undefeated Spiros Demetriou. I think that's an absolutely cracking fight and could steal the show. Yeah.
Any predictions for Michael? Go on.
I ain't seen too much of them lads. I can't give a comment on that. I've seen that Freddie Quit. I've seen him a couple of times, so no, I can't give no comments. But I've got two gym mates fighting, Miles Shinkwin and Charlie Bearden.
It's good to see Miles back, isn't it? Miles had a year out, and Miles is signed with us now.
Yeah, he didn't get his English title eliminated, did he? Except fell through with Chris Hobbs.
Yeah, unfortunately Chris Hobbs pulled out with injury. But Miles, last time he fought in a shoebox in Portsmouth. Remember when I looked up Joe McIntyre? To be honest, I stitched Miles up, and he knows that. But he doesn't want to be. But now he's on our team, so he doesn't get stitched.
He's crossed the bridge.
He's seen the light, and he's come across. So. No, it's great. I'm really looking forward to Miles. I really like Miles, and I think we can build him back up to some big title fights.
And I look forward to one of your local boys, Linus Udofia.
He's took a proper fight.
That's a proper fight.
Ashley Bailey Donetsk.
Because Ashley's coming down from a bigger weight as well, isn't he? He's a big old lad, Ashley.
He will come to win. Ashley Bailey's done a few tickets as well, but Linus wants a proper fight.
Yeah, good.
And I've got total admiration for Linus. I think he's a future star.
Yeah, definitely.
But he wants to fight people that want to fight him, and he's that's what he wants.
He's 100% dedicated to the sport as well. So
lovely kid.
Life,
and I think Linus Udofia will be British champion and more.
Yeah, I've said the same thing actually. Oddly enough, when I was pissed in a nightclub, and I saw him in there, and he was driving for the evening. But I introduced him to some mates, and I've hung my hat on that as well. So
I think he's a superstar.
Yeah. So for me, like that is a fight in itself that is worth going along and catching. But I look forward to. So those other 3 fights are fantastic.
But even Miles Shinkwin's fighting a kid that's only lost 2 from 7. So Miles is coming back with a decent fight. There's some really good fights. Sam Barron's fighting somebody that's undefeated. It's a really good card.
Yeah.
Really good card. And if people haven't gone, then they should be coming. No ring sides, no VIPs, all sold out. But there are a few, and I mean a few, unreserved tickets left.
Yeah, and we've got a few clips from Spiros Demetriou and Danny Couzens now. And there seems to be a little bit of needle that's built between the two of them over social media. I think Danny took exception to Spiros saying something about him.
He's a journeyman or something.
Yeah, he's a journeyman who was going to get knocked out. So it's enough of my talking. I'm going to have a look at those now.
This is SD Spiros Demetriou, who's fighting this Saturday at the York Hall Bethnal Green for the Southern Area title final eliminator against Danny Couzens. How's the training camp gone, Spiros?
Training camp's going well. Been getting in the rounds and sparring. Been abroad, working hard with Coach K.
And ready to go for this Saturday?
This Saturday I'm ready to go. I hope the best if Danny Couzens turns up, because I'm going to turn up and I'm going to smash him by the third round.
Boxing Spiros Demetriou on Saturday night in a final eliminator for the Southern Area Cruiserweight title. Our training camp has gone great. We've had some quality sparring. To be fair, it doesn't matter how this fight goes. I think I've got the power to knock anyone out. It doesn't matter who they are. So I can make it comfortable for myself and outbox him, or we can have a fight and he's going to get knocked out. So everyone that's at York Hall on Saturday are in for a great fight, and it's going to be a great night for us all.
So there you go, that's those two gents. The other one that's going on this weekend over in the West Country,
Swindon,
is Michael Ramabeletsa versus Ash Lane. So Michael Ramabeletsa, your lad, taking him on.
again, came to me as a journeyman. We've turned him into a contender. Literally, first fight he fought for the English title and was very unlucky to lose to Josh Kennedy.
Yeah.
And the second fight, he's now got a Commonwealth title shot. You can't do any more than deliver that, can you, Mike? If you was a journeyman and you fought for an English Commonwealth title in your successive fights, so that's what I try and do. I promised him I'd do my best.
I'll hold you to that as well.
Yeah, I know. But no, Michael's got the opportunity now, and let's hope he can do it. I think he can do it. And we're just going to pray and hope he can. I think he's coming up now to talk about the big opportunity.
Hi guys, just want to say I've got a Commonwealth title fight, and my manager got me a Commonwealth title, and I don't know. I'm excited. I'm buzzing where I'm at. I can't believe the day he rang me. I was not expecting all this. He says, Mike, I got your Commonwealth title. You know what? I'm still over the moon. During my training, I was over the moon, happy. I'm happy even now. So I want to say thank you, Steve Goodwin. You did exactly what you promised from the day one. I sit down with you in the office. And thank you so much. I could not wait how much I want to say thank you for this opportunity, which is I want to grab this chance with both hands. I want to become a Commonwealth champion on Saturday. I'll make sure, because I know it's going to open the doors for the team. So I'm looking forward to it, and thank you for everything. And this is for the young stars as well who are coming up, that they should know you should keep working hard. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It's going to be hard. You're going to face the challenges, but keep working and keep believing in yourself. One day, everything will come together. Thank you, Steve, for everything. Thank you.
So there's Mr. Ramabeletsa taking on Ash Lane for the Commonwealth. And best of luck to him, really. I think Kev's going down with him, isn't he?
Yeah, Kev's going down to look after him. I've decided I need to be at York Hall because I've got so many of the lads I manage fighting there. But Kevin's going down to Swindon to look after Michael, and hope they come back and we hear all the news that Michael's a new Commonwealth champion.
Excellent. So who's going to be keeping an ear out for that?
I hear more than an ear, yeah.
All right, so we're going to move on. Last week you promised doing Q&A. Best question that comes out gets 2 free tickets to a show.
Well, I think what we'll do, if there's any good questions, we'll give 2, and if we think there's an outstanding question, we'll give a ringside. So
all right,
we'll give a few, but I don't know what they are, so we'll just
I've kept things to myself all week. So, all right, so I'll do it in chronological order. Although we've put some aside for Michael at the end that people can have a laugh at for some of them. Josh may have put his own in there.
I knew you were going to stitch me up. I knew it.
Right, so we'll start off with, and we'll try and fire through them because I've got a few pages worth here.
I'll try and answer quick then.
James Lupton at round 8. What do you, Steve, look for in a boxer when signing them, whether it's managerial or promotional?
We don't really sign very many promotional deals because, to be honest, we manage most of them. We do sign promotional deals for a few. If we're signing promotional deals, if they've got to be with a decent manager who we trust.
Yeah.
Not so many of them.
Are there any examples of lads that you've had on that kind of?
Rod Julian has got Sam Gilly.
Right.
We used to have Matt McCarthy, who was with Terry Coulter at the time. So we've had a few. We had.
And myself as well.
Yeah, Michael was on when he was with James Paisley.
Okay.
So we've had a few, and then when Michael won his first Southern Area title, he was on the promotional. So we were working that little bit more with James on that. So yeah, we do it, but generally they're managerial. What we're looking for firstly is they've got to be decent people. They've got to have the right type of attitude, and then we find the level. They haven't got to be a world champion. If Southern Area is going to be their level, we'll still take them on because that's still going to be their World Cup, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we look for the right attitude and the right person. There's plenty, as you know. We've got Prince Patel, who we did sign, and then got rid of him. So if they then prove not to have the right attitude, we get rid of them.
No comment.
Yeah.
All right, next one, Riku Highclere. What changes can the British board make to ensure that boxers are better from signing contracts and agreements which are deemed to be not in the best interest of the fighter? So better protected, I think.
Well, the problem you've got is you cannot stop a boxer from signing a private agreement. And I have seen many private agreements in boxing. Some of them you wouldn't sign.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, boxers do sign them. And the best advice I can give to any boxer is to get a manager who understands what they're signing and conveys that to you. The board can't protect that because they don't. The board don't protect the private agreement. So unless the board make private agreements unlawful, which they can't, or against their rules, there is nothing the board can do to stop a boxer signing something that he shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because the boxer should get legal advice and have a good manager, and that's the only thing that a boxer can do. And unfortunately, there's not many boxers that have people around who are that capable of understanding what they're signing.
Yeah. Okay. Peter Fenimore, with the Fury Parker fight being shown on YouTube, how long, if it proves successful, until pay-per-views will be on an internet-based platform, or will it mean TV-based providers have to up their game with cards to keep the viewers?
I think they're miles away. I think internet pay-per-view, I think internet at the moment is miles away. The streams aren't reliable enough.
Yeah.
I think you'd lose buffering, you'd lose everything. So I think at the moment, I would not pay for pay-per-view on an internet-based platform. So I think it's a long way away.
Yeah. Okay. Seamus Campbell, who covers the cost of camp and trainer fees for low to middle rank pros who are on low purses? How much do trainers cost on average?
Well, when you're on that sort of thing, nobody earns a lot of money. The trainer would earn 10% of what a boxer earns. A boxer may earn £1,000, £1,500, £2,000, who knows, and some earn even less. So the trainers earning for very little. They tend to give up their own time, their own petrol. Nobody's earning. Everybody's on the dream of trying to make
Obviously,
money.
if you looked at what the pound per hour must be on all the people involved,
What do you reckon, Mike? Sometimes even boxers, isn't it?
Yeah, like some boxers say if they don't sell enough tickets or they
That could be fine.
whatever, 200 quid. Some people pay their own money and stuff like that, so
It's really bad. Unfortunately, the problem is until we've sort of helped a bit because we sell our own tickets now, and we've got and it's increasing. There are bigger people that want to come back, and our own database. But at the moment, with most shows, that the promoter doesn't sell any tickets themselves and relies on the boxers wholeheartedly. In which case, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah. A slightly loaded question here from Darren Jennings.
Good old Darren. Thanks.
Do you think it's right to have main event fights at midnight because of other shows elsewhere? Pay in public, get robbed.
That's why they don't pay and they go for free tickets.
Agreed. As somebody that would pay for tickets, I wouldn't pay for something like that. You lose trust.
And I think what happens then, and I think some of the cards of the promoters that you're talking about are very good. However, the problem is that because of this type of stuff now, they're not filling arenas, so they're giving competitions away with too many free tickets. So people now know that, so now they're just not selling tickets.
Okay, Steve, how do you see the landscape of TV go in the next 3 to 5 years for big and small promoters?
Well, Eddie Hearn will still be king for as long as he wants to be, because nobody's going to break that mould, and I think I've got to say, I think he does a good job overall. BT Sport, in my opinion, has not been the thriving success that it was promised to be. People haven't signed, and if you look at the cards, they're not in depth with lots of talent, of what I class of top class talent coming through. So he's got a thing there. David Hay is trying to develop the Dave platform, and I think there's good mileage in that because it needs free to air. ITV need to squib up their backsides, and I think they could become a major player. I think ITV potentially, if they got it right, could take over.
They're sleeping giant, isn't they?
They could take over boxing, but I'm not privy to what's going on. But it doesn't seem that they're doing it very well at the moment. But ITV could be the king of it, and that could upset the apple cart. I think you could have ITV and Sky at the top there.
Yeah.
And I think BT Sport, they're just not getting the fights, and you can't build a station like Anthony Yard and Daniel Dubois.
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. Yeah.
Not with Norbert Nimasapi.
Mm.
Question from John Mulhow. How much did you have to pony up to start the boxing business?
Right, when you start as a promoter, it's £10,000 bond you've got to lodge. You've got to have £10,000 to start. And then when you start promoting and all the scumbags rob you, you end up losing a lot more. So you're probably £7,000 or £8,000 down before you realise who's stealing from you.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you either carry on or you stop. I mean, someone like Tommy Dovell, I think, is a thoroughly decent man. It appears that he's took a financial hammering being a promoter. So, that's very sad, because I think he's trying to do the right thing. Hopefully he'll come back, but it's very hard. So it's a very expensive thing. So I would say to most people, if you want to get into boxing, make sure your money is coming from another source, because boxing's not going to be the one.
All right. Paul Altai, what has been your toughest decision within the boxing world to date? Have you had to be harsh with people close to you for their own good? I like that one.
Toughest decision today? There's been loads of them.
Yeah.
Not with people close to me. I mean, because we've had. I'm just trying to think. I think really we've not had to make any really tough decisions apart from. I've released boxers that I quite like as people, but I find I don't want to work with them anymore. So that's been. I suppose that's the thing when you let a boxer go.
So do they duck fights or something? Is it hard to match?
Well, I told you. I'm not going to repeat, but I told you both a story just upstairs about somebody who I actually still really like.
Yeah.
And I released him, but I had to release him. I had no choice because he was being an idiot, and I wasn't prepared to tolerate that. So it's sometimes a decision where you have to let somebody go, and then when you let them go and you watch their career go downhill, and you see that and you know that's because you've let them go, that their career's on downhill, but they've instigated it. I think that whole thing, it's like having a girlfriend that you still like but realise you're never going to settle down with, you have to let her go.
Yeah, especially when your wife finds out as well. It's terrible. Question from Shaz.
By the way, that one, 2 tickets. So
2 tickets for Paul. All right, I need to make a note of this. I think Josh is clearly behind the camera, going to make a note of these for us. Question from Shaz. Shaz, who's a good man, we see him around at York all the time. Nice bloke. Your opinion on third parties running boxers' social media accounts, especially when you tweet to a boxer to ask for their view and you know the third party has given theirs.
Yeah, this is a sort of thing that what's happening and this is something that doesn't affect me, but it affects other managers. You're getting boxers paying fees to people to run their social media. Now these people should go through the managers and discuss this with the managers, but they're not. They're contacting the boxers directly, charging them a fee and then running their social media. It should be up to the manager really to decide whether the boxer goes down that route.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing.
In terms of paying money out for
the first thing I say is
hope of getting the sponsorship or ticket sales.
Yeah, and the point is that some of these media groups could get themselves in a bit of trouble, and I know one case at the moment where one of them's about to get some legal stuff thrown at them because they've upset a manager by going directly with the boxer. So you've got to be careful. So I think they need to restage how they do this, and they should go through the manager and then work alongside the manager with the boxer, because I've got no harm in people earning money if they're delivering the right thing for the boxer.
Yeah.
However, some of it seems to be that the boxer's paying money and not actually getting anything. They're getting a lot of so-called Twitter impressions, which doesn't sell tickets. So what you get is sometimes people are doing this, and a boxer will go to one of these and say, I need this to help sell my tickets. Doesn't work. Doesn't necessarily work for that. Some work better than others, but what's a bit annoying sometimes is you see that somebody who's running somebody's account will fire a question and it's that person firing it back. So you think this is just a joke.
It's like madness, isn't it though?
It's a bit madness.
Talking to yourself online.
Yeah, and you're getting a lot of it now, and I think that unless they tidy it up, unless they do it properly, it won't last that long.
Yeah. I just think for boxers, be careful what you're signing up for, and know what your. You can't promise anything, but know what your potential returns are against what you're paying out.
And I would say to boxers, I haven't really spoke to my own about it. If somebody does approach you, should really come through me, because I'll sort it out.
All right. From Alex Manvelian, and apologies for pronouncing that incorrectly.
I would use Shaz 2 tickets, but he comes in anyway. So.
Well, that's it, yeah.
Carry on.
He'd give them out to charity, he's a nice man.
Yeah, he is.
Hello, Steve. I heard that Chisora will fight in Monaco on November. Who's the promoter of that event? It's Hearn, isn't it?
Said he heard.
Yeah. Ace McPlayboy on Twitter, great name. Would you, Steve, ever and at what point pass over a fighter that showed elite talent to a promoter with more resources? If yes, which promoter would you handle them with?
Right, so it's a question by someone who doesn't understand how it works, with all due respect. So it's a good question for people, because people say it's a good, but it's not actually a good question, because my fighters I manage. So I manage Dereck Chisora and I manage Frank Buglioni.
So you might manage them on your shows, and then when they get picked up potentially by a Hearn, you'll still manage them, but they'll get promoted elsewhere.
So whether I want to sign a boxer to an American promoter, a Sauerland, David Hay promotional deal, I'm always going to look for the best deal for my fighter.
Yeah.
So I don't release them. So people think, well, when they see Frank Buglioni, who I was managing, sign a promotional deal with Eddie Hearn, I haven't released him. I'm still managing him because he still needs somebody to get in the best possible purses, negotiate the best possible fights, negotiate the best possible contractual terms. So no, it doesn't happen. So that would never ever happen.
The amount of questions I got at the time, and I thought Frank was with Steve. I can't be bothered to answer.
I know, because I'm still with Frank and I'm still looking after him. Except he doesn't fight on shows, because the point is our shows are not as good as Eddie Hearn shows. So of course, if I get my fighters fighting on Eddie Hearn bigger platform, more exposure. So of course, but they still are going to be managed by me.
Cardiff Stadium.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it's great.
Matt Field, is there any reason Yarde is clinging on to the light heavyweight Southern Area strap with no intention of defending him?
Yes, there is a reason. Unfortunately,
can that be divulged or discussed?
Well, let's just say what happened. I think I can say what happened. So we were all under the impression, the board were, and we were, that Anthony Yarde, when he wins the WBO European, had relinquished the title, but he hadn't, and we had looked to make a fight. There was then an objection, a written objection, from one of the people associated with Anthony Yarde, putting a block on anybody fighting for the title. So it's basically a situation of somebody who just literally, for spiteful reasons, doesn't want to let other boxers get on and win titles.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's the end of it.
Surely if you win the WBO European...
No, there's a blip.
Right,
you have outgrown it, but there's a blip where it says it, but they don't have to actually relinquish it.
Oh,
if you win the English title, you've got to relinquish it.
Yeah.
The WBO European, they'll find out, you don't, because they don't. I think the board don't class the WBO European as good as the English, because anybody can win it.
Yeah.
Or not anybody, but we all know what happens to WBO European. So, but I think, and it's really sad, because Anthony Yarde holds on the title, all the other light heavyweights can't fight for it, all because a person associated with Anthony Yarde wants to just stop other boxers developing their careers. Really sad.
Yeah. All right, Lee at Last Dart on Twitter. What would be the highest level fight that you think you could put on at York Hall?
Well, we've put on Commonwealth titles, done 2 of them. We've put on English titles.
And English was only last year, wasn't it? The first one. Was that Johnny Gart and Ryan Fields?
Yeah, and we've done obviously the Duke Mika, Matthew Chander.
Richard Comey.
We've done Richard Comey against Gary Buckland. So we've done Commonwealths. We've done loads of English now. We could put on a British, but obviously the key with putting on a British is there's more money for the fighter if I can get that on a TV platform. So I don't really want to put a British on because the fighter won't be getting the money. At the end of the day, it's about the fighter, isn't it? I don't care. I've not got an ego. So I will put the fights on. We'll put the fights on if it's the best thing for the fighter. But if not, we'll get another platform to do it.
Yeah.
And like the John O'Donnell to Mark Mucha fight, which is promoted by Josh. Unfortunately, John suffered an injury. So Josh is putting this on in association with David Hay now. So the John O'Donnell to Mark Mucha fight is getting a bigger platform.
Yeah.
British title, final eliminator, and an English title. So that's the highest English level fight we've done. So it's about what is right for the boxer. So we could put on a British title. You probably couldn't put on any more than that because you wouldn't be able to afford it unless you had sponsors involved.
Yeah. Okay. Damien Taylor, what are Steve's thoughts on poor behaviour of boxers during the build-up to fights? Is it declining? Does the sport have the appetite to improve it?
No, the sport doesn't have an appetite to improve it. Everybody is, and we all know Dereck Chisora through the table.
I didn't want to mention it.
Yeah, but I managed Dereck Chisora at the time, but I think it's encouraged. I think beneath the surface, it's encouraged to sell tickets, sell pay-per-views.
It's hard as well. Like these are fighters at the end, and you take a dislike to someone as well, and some people insult you and stuff like that.
I do think there's limits to how far you can push it. So when you saw Billy Joe Saunders' son kicking Willie Monroe Jr., I'm not a fan of that. And then when you get the broadcaster tweeting it out with laughing emojis on it, I'm not a fan of.
That's endorsing it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of seeing that. Like, leave it between adults, okay. Like, there are certain things you might frown upon, like chucking a table. But to see kids involved.
But that was the worst thing. That was the worst thing I've ever seen at the weekend.
Yeah,
that's the worst thing I've ever seen in boxing.
Wasn't comfortable with that.
And that's including, was it Tyson biting Lewis's leg or whatever they did at the time. I mean, getting your kid up there, that really, and what is the kid doing in the middle of them?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it happened, and I don't think it's good for boxing. And I think it's getting worse. And I think people are doing more dramatic things to try and sell fights.
It's the old thing about when he makes the front pages rather than the back pages. It's not a good look for the sport.
Exactly.
John Bailey, how many fighters do you trust with just a handshake?
How many Well, listen, it's not about fighters, it's about people in the world, isn't it? How many people in the world would you trust with a handshake? Very few. Some fighters you can't even trust with a contract, so let alone a handshake. It's the person you're dealing with. So I don't think it's fair to say just fighters, but some fighters are appallingly disloyal. No matter what you do for them, they're going to shit on you. And other fighters are give as much loyalty back. So a handshake, unfortunately, in this world, doesn't really mean a lot generally, does it?
But I guess inherently boxers are quite self-focused people anyway, and will, as will most people in life, look for what's best for them. It's just how many of them do that outside of contractual obligations?
Because what I think is wrong, and I think that's the right thing to do. But if you see, I've seen some promoters put an amazing amount of money into a boxer, and they get them to even world title levels, and then they shit on the person that's done it for them from a heavy height. That's wrong, isn't it?
Yeah.
And therefore, it then stops somebody wanting to invest in a fighter because they think if I invest in them and get them to that level, they're just going to shit on them.
Yeah. Question from Tommy D. Where do you think Edwin the Inca Varelos, I'm sure that's spelled wrong, career path / legacy would have taken him if it hadn't all ended in tragedy?
He would have been an all-time great, I think.
He was a great fighter, obviously.
Knocked everyone out, didn't he?
Heavy-handed and that.
Is he 27, 28? Didn't he have about 10 or 12 world title fights?
Yeah.
Great fighter. But unfortunately, it's very sad.
Who's your favourite all-time fighter? It's not a question, it's from me.
Nigel Benn.
Is it?
Yeah.
Johnny Tapia.
Is it?
Yeah.
Just like brawlers.
Just for what outside his demons outside of boxing, and he still achieved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So take my off to him.
Yeah. Excellent. I like Eubank.
I went and saw the Eubank Ben fight.
Did you?
The 1990 one. I think I took my wife to that. We sat and watched that. It was just brilliant. I loved the first fight. I went to the second fight. I was disappointing, but I watched both.
I think Eubank's grown on me over the years as well.
That's
just
it.
his lunacy. It's brilliant. It's.
It's great.
Whenever you see a man in a bow tie in the Mayweather gym, hitting a speedball is something else. John Bailey again. What did you do in a past life to re-sign Dereck Chisora?
That's got to be 2 ringside tickets, hasn't it? That's got to be the ringside tickets.
John, you're noted for that.
Ringside tickets, and you can sit next to me for that one. That's great.
Share a ring with Chisora as well, you cheeky.
Yeah. And we'll bring Dereck and he can sit next to me. Do you know, he's actually a nice fella. He's actually not, in part, he's not all... I think he's an actually all right bloke. And he has got... obviously strange ways. The issue was before that I was trying to, if you try and manage somebody who's tied into something where you can't manage them, it becomes increasingly difficult because the fighter's getting frustrated. The situation was impossible.
Yeah.
He came back to me when he was out of contract, and Don Charles asked me to do it, so therefore I've done it. And so far so good, and we're looking forward to the future, and he's got some really good fights coming up.
What's he like to train alongside, Michael?
I've seen him in the past and everything, and sometimes he didn't come in the best of shape, but I've never actually seen a heavyweight train so much and so well. So he keeps himself to himself in the gym. I do my own thing. Sometimes he shows me little bits and stuff like that. So it's nice to get some knowledge, but I just keep it. He's pretty scary, so I leave him alone.
Keep arm's length.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's it.
I'll tell you something though. Don Charles said he's more focused and training harder than he's ever done in his life.
Really?
And do you know why that is? Because he's now got a contract that makes sense. He knows what he's doing. He knows when he's fighting. There's no dramas, and we calmed it all down and got it all
But
smooth.
that kind of stability must make a huge difference to.
But
you know,
definitely for Dereck.
yeah, somebody of that mindset that may be liable to go up and down a bit.
So I mean, he really has got. We've done the right thing. So everything is now calm, and he knows. We know what we're doing when we're fighting. We've got 4 fights planned now,
Yeah,
so it's great.
excellent. Where was I up to? What is the biggest demand from John Bailey again? You can't win any more tickets, mate. Sorry. What's the biggest demand a fighter has put on you at a client meeting or potential client meet?
But we had there was a meeting. It wasn't an initial meeting, but I had a meeting with one boxer, and we were in London, and he was a super lightweight, and he said, "I want to fight a super flyweight from abroad or something like that." And I said, "That's ridiculous." And all he said was, "Steve, make it happen."
Make it happen.
That was.
What are you going to do? Feed them Nando's overseas?
And the other thing that happened, but it wasn't at an original client meeting, was we put a fighter on at a certain time on the show. You know when you schedule shows, and they rang me up and said he needs to fight at 9 o'clock exactly. Right? Why is that? His demographic of fans all around the country need to know when he's fighting and when to arrive.
Really?
And he wasn't even that big a ticket seller. It was nonsense.
From around the country.
So you have that. Another fighter's asked for his own security to be put on a door at York Hall when nobody would have cared anyway. So things like that have happened, but not the original meeting, because the original meeting, the boxer's trying to get you to sign them.
Right.
So they therefore are going to be on their best behaviour, aren't they? Same as if we want to sign them, you're trying to come across and make sure you're all happy with each other. So nobody's going to make outrageous demands. Like when I first met Dereck Chisora, neither made any demands.
Yeah.
So.
What are we up to? Ace McPlayboy again. Asking about Rio Ferdinand, who's today announced he's going to become a professional boxer, possibly, if he gets his licence. If Rio fought exclusively on the off-TV small hall circuit, bringing attention and ticket sales, do you think that would be good for boxing?
No.
No?
No. Because I think if he's good enough, but I mean, if you take Leon McKenzie, who I think has had a phenomenal career starting at 35 years of age,
fight as
and he
well,
can fight. but he fought Cello Render at 39. He said, "My body's gone. My body's gone." And he'd done 4 years of boxing and learned his trade, and he was come from fighting.
He's always been round boxing as well through his family as well, so he's a rare exception.
You're talking about somebody starting at 39. I would be gobsmacked if you got a boxing board licence.
Yeah, especially after the Flintoff stuff.
I can't believe the boxing board will give him a licence. I think it's all something about nothing.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Flintoff should fight Rio, maybe.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do it in a white collar fight or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, raise money for charity. If you want to get in a ring, then go.
I just can't see Rio getting a licence. Can't see it. But listen, any strange thing happens in boxing.
Yeah. Yeah. One final one from John Bailey. How much did you put on Mayweather?
40,000.
There you go. That's the answer people have been asking for, to win X amount.
10.
Which,
It was the easiest 10,000 ever. Apart from the bet we had on Saturday, that was great as well.
Oh yeah, I'm going to hide these questions from Michael. Right, there we go. Right, first question then for Michael. We'll turn our attention.
You're doing it to me like that, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Because Josh has hidden one in it. A question from Andy White. How would you beat these fellow lightweights? Sean Dodd.
Sean Dodd, I was going to... we were in talks about fighting Sean Dodd, so we had a game plan. Sean Dodd ain't a great fighter, I don't think, and I think I can beat Sean Dodd tomorrow, so that's a fight that I want in the future. So
he's got Thomas Stalker soon, isn't he? So it'll be a close fight. Speaking of which, Thomas Stalker,
like, obviously he's got a slick boxing skills, southpaw. I just put it on him and give him hell for how many rounds I can, you know what I mean? And I like... He don't punch that hard. Like I'd take that fight as well. Like, not a problem.
Paul Hyland Jr.
That's the one I most fancy. Like we were supposed to fight for an Irish title. Paul Hyland, he comes in. I wouldn't have to go looking for him.
Yeah.
Me and him in the centre of the ring. Love it. I love that fight.
That's a hard fight though. That's probably the hardest. Does that get you more excited? The fact there may be a harder fight.
Yeah, like I've seen Paul Hyland. Like fair play, he smashed. Who's it? Dingsdale. He smashed Dingsdale, but I think he got caught cold a bit, and then he grew a pair of bollocks Dingsdale and didn't defend himself. Like he went in to go in for the kill. When you get hurt, even myself, I know when to. Like I still need to grab and hold and use my experience to survive. You know what I mean? So.
Danny Connor.
He gets beaten every day of the week. He's fighting at light heavyweight now, anyway. So.
There's another question about Danny later, so we'll skip it. Scotty Cardle.
Scotty Cardle, he's very beatable. Like Sean Dodd, obviously put it on him as well. Like he's got an awkward style, but I've got a high work rate, so I think I can. They're the fights I want to be in. So
they're the kind of names you want to be associated with.
Danny Connors, you can scrub him off anyway. So.
All right, one from Charlie Denham. What is training with Don Charles like, and where did that switch come from?
Basically, I was training up in Manchester with Kevin Murray, who's a fantastic coach. So really brought me on leaps and bounds, and we sat down. I signed with Steve, and I needed to relocate back to near my family and stuff. So Steve done the work for me, and I'm so glad this happened because Don Charles and Tony Pill have brought me on even further now, and I've got a really good gym, and I've got some big names in there. So
yeah.
I'm just bouncing off them as well. So
yeah. I mean, you've got a great gym down there, haven't you? Some really good names.
Yeah, it's like everyone comes there, meets up for sparring and stuff like that. Like Don's been there and done it. He's been in world titles. He's got Frank in British titles. Like he can only benefit me, and he really works on defence as well, and that's what I lack in. So yeah, like making me use my brain a bit more as well. So Don's a fantastic trainer.
Alright, cool. Callum Wall, you've been inactive for large parts of your career. Why is that?
Just through injuries and not living the life, and there's been like managerial contracts and stuff like that. So yeah, just like got to about 28 years old now, and I feel like I've actually grown up a bit now. So we plan to be out as regularly, and I'm here to fight anyone as well. I never back down from a fight. So
I think I discussed it with you before about being a lot younger and you were making mistakes outside of the ring.
That's it. Yeah, like
having a kid changes it, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Like being a father, like is the best thing what can happen to me, and like basically I've moved away from like out of my estate where I grew up, where all the lads are and stuff like that. I still speak to them, but it's too like at that age I was too easily distracted and stuff like that. At the end of the day, I know what I want now. Like I didn't know whether I didn't really have the hunger. Now this is it, all or nothing. I don't want to be one of those people who could have done something and didn't. You know what I mean? So
still Michael from the block, then.
That's
deep down.
That's it.
Jordan Harris, how far do you realistically think you can go in your career?
Honestly, like I could win a British title. Like the lads at it now, Robbie Barrett, I can beat Robbie Barrett, and any of the like the lightweight division is really open at the minute. There's no one who's really leading the way. There's obviously the lads at world level, but I'm nowhere near that. But I can win a British title, and I will do within hopefully 18 to 24 months.
Do you think you're now past, again it's not a question, it's just me really, like the Southern Area level where you've won a couple of titles,
100%.
You've been at different weights?
Like I've won like super featherweight and lightweight now, and I really think I deserve an English title. Obviously I was in prize fighter as well. I want to win an English title and I want to win a British title, so they're on my list, so hopefully Steve can pull it off.
And I mean your return as well, it's probably worth touching on about the guy that's helping support your return, because it's quite an interesting story of...
Yeah, Marco Robinson. Basically I retired just through like the financial sides of things. Like the game's too hard, I was just going to get a regular job and stuff, and it's pretty scary to think like what I'm actually going to do, but he rang me up and he's supporting me now, and I obviously have to thank him. I couldn't have done it without him.
And who is he? He's
Marco Ronson's. He's an entrepreneur. He's basically he's famous for like giving away a house for free on Channel 4. So
yeah,
but he does loads of other good things as well. So he's a brilliant bloke, and yeah, I couldn't speak highly enough of him.
Excellent. David Money, where did your nickname Chunky come from?
Just from my mum as a kid. I I was a big baby, man. And just from there, just start like I got called out as a kid, and then I went to a football team just before I went to high school, and they were like, "Have you got a nickname?" So I scored loads of goals, and they went. I said, "Well, my mum used to call me Chunky," and then it just stuck from that. Like.
That's why I get called Ricky, but I won't tell you why. Do a salsa dancing. There you go. From Ian, why have you spent the last year running from Danny Connor?
Danny Connor will take about a year to get that weight off. Like he's like, no way. Like honestly, Danny's like I'd fight Danny in a heartbeat. Like Danny don't do nothing for me. Like I fought him twice and he's never beat me. So that's like I've told Steve I had enough of all of his shit. I said, Steve, make that fight happen. I'm going to put this geezer asleep once for all. So if he comes down to the lightweight and he picks up a title on the way, then it's for something. Then it's worth me doing it.
I mean, he's fighting up north, isn't he? He's Steffi Ball card, is it? I don't know.
Fight Maxi Hughes.
That's it.
Yeah.
A question from Terry: are you looking forward to fighting on the undercard of Groves versus Cox?
Yeah, like.
Nah, he's not. It'd be rubbish.
I'm buzzing. Like Steve, fair play to him, has pulled it off and got me on a big show. Like obviously, I boxed at the O2 under the Joshua undercard, but I was in the away corner. I got given like 4 or 5 weeks to train. I was
at the wrong weight,
2.5 stone overweight. You know what I mean? And I lost it. I had a good camp, like, but just weren't enough time. I didn't have nothing. It was short, but I gave it everything. But obviously, I come up short that day, and I thought I actually got stopped by getting hit with a low blow, and I took a knee, and I got caught while I was on the ground as well. So I just get
there's no more 4 weeks notice for big fights.
That's it.
And I mean that is it's the World Boxing Super Series show, isn't it?
That's it. Like,
the one at the weekend, I don't know if you saw it. It looks superb. I thought the Echo Arena up in Liverpool, the whole thing out. They've got these white spotlights up from the ground. Just looks different to a normal boxing show. It's really, really good. The production.
It could be good for Michael to fight on it. It's good for him to get going.
I'm really looking forward to actually putting on a show as well. Like I'm a decent ticket seller as well.
Yeah.
So
you haven't got an opponent yet, have you?
No.
But yeah, there's a few of your lads on there. Isn't there?
Got 4. Yeah, 4 on there. It's great. Got Michael, Dan Keenan, Dino Richardson, and Yusuf Kamali.
Yeah. Somebody laughed over, I don't know why. But I mean, it often gets overlooked. I think with the Callum Smith one, it's a world title fight as well, Groves versus Cox.
Well, it's a better fight actually than the Smith-Scoglan fight, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's it for the question. So thank you to everyone that submitted one. We've got a couple of people that are winning tickets out of that. Which somebody will be in contact with you. I don't know who. I'm really planning this through. But yeah, somebody will. Michael, is there anything else you want to add in terms of run through your upcoming fight? What's the date of it?
14th October, Wembley Arena,
isn't it? Yeah.
If you want to go and get some tickets off Michael because he earns from that, don't buy them for the box office.
Yes.
Get in contact with him on Twitter or Facebook.
And other than that, we've got a whole day down at York Hall on Saturday.
We have. It's a long day, isn't it?
It is. It's why it gets me out of an Irish dancing competition organised by my wife, so I'm quite thankful. But yeah, other than that, thank you for watching. Thank you to Michael for coming up from Luton, and yeah, we'll be back again maybe next week, maybe sometime soon after. Thank you.
Thanks.